In topic 3, we'll take a look at mixed and entire radicals. This is a little bit like mixed and improper fractions. Uh, Anything where we have a square root, try that again, anything that has a square root or a cube root, right? A square root, a cube root, fourth root, or any sort of root symbol with any number here, that's going to be a radical. So we can split up radicals. So we have n, which is either 2 for a square root, 3 for a cube root, 4 for a fourth root, etc., etc., and then the number under the radical right here. We can usually split that up into two factors, hopefully one of which, usually this first one here, one of which is a perfect square or perfect cube or whatever, and then you're left with your remainder, your leftovers here. So let's take a look at a couple of examples here. So we're looking at the square root of 80. We want to split 80 up into two numbers, one of which is a perfect square, and then the leftovers. So if we factor 80, right, we get 1, 80, 2, 40, 4, 20, 16, and 5. I did those backwards. And 8 and 10. So we look for the biggest perfect square. And that's going to be 16. So we can rewrite the square root of 80 as the square root of 16 times the square root of 5. And we can simplify the square root of 16 to be 4. And we multiply that by root 5. So we have now simplified that radical. The square root of 80 is the same as 4 times the square root of 5. So in part B here, we're looking for cube roots. So we're looking for perfect cubes. So let's just list those for a minute up here. 1, 8, 27, 64. So then we factor out our 144, or we look to see if any of those perfect cubes fit into 144. Of course, 1 does. 1 always fits. We see if 8 fits. It does. We get 8 and 18. We'll check if 27 fits. Not properly. And 64 doesn't fit either. So we're going to use 8 and 18 as our factors. So we can rewrite the cube root of 144 as the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 18. We can simplify the cube root of 8 to be 2. And we're left with the cube root of 18. So the cube root of 144 is the same as 2 times the cube root of 18. So we've simplified that radical. Now when we look over here at the fourth root, let's write down our perfect quads, I guess. 1, 2 to the fourth is 16. 3 to the fourth is 81. And that's as far as we need to go. So if we check, well, of course, 1 goes to, is a factor of 162. 16 is not. 81 is. So we can split it up into 81 and 2. So we can rewrite the fourth root of 162 is equal to the fourth root of 81 times the fourth root of 2. And we know the fourth root of 81 is 3. And we're left with the fourth root of 2.